Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. It's Heidi. So today I thought I would do a little something different and do a little tour of my coloring and craft storage areas. They're not very extensive, but I thought maybe people would be interested in seeing them because I'm always really excited to see other people's spaces and areas where they color, where they keep their stuff. It's really interesting to me to see everybody's different ways of doing things. So this is my living room. That is my cat Callie, the most important part of this whole thing. That is my couch. That is where I do probably 75% of my coloring. My husband and I live in this small apartment, so I don't have a ton of space to store things. Over here is my regular, it's not really a desk, it's more like a table that I use as my desk. This is my regular work desk now that I'm working at home, and it will stay that way for the long term, I think. So I have another desk that I bought that I'll show you to replace that. And then over here I've got this little cabinet on the right that has coloring supplies and art supplies. And then that bookcase is where I keep, the majority of it. And I got that a while ago. I think it was about a year ago, maybe not quite a year. And this is where I keep all my coloring books and other supplies. Over here, oh, well, I'll show you this too briefly later on. This is my other craft cabinet that I keep, everything else craft related in. And then this is my bookcase, my regular bookcase. So over on the top where all this stuff is, all the Buffy DVDs and all this other stuff, that was where I kept my coloring books. And I quickly started to outgrow it and ran out of space, and I didn't really know what to do until I got this bookcase. So I got this bookcase, now I have room. I have some room for expansion, although it's rapidly growing. So up in the top I've got my pencils, mostly pencils. Over on the left, from left to right, the gray case has my Prismacolors. The white marbled case are the Arteza watercolor pencils. The one next to it in the marbled case are the Arteza Expert pencils. Next to that, in the brown case, are the Polychromes. And then the black case are Crayolas, and the purple star case are Black Widows. The blue one are Spirfarben. The lavender one are Castle Arts, and the pink one, those are the Arteza toy markers. And then the little pink case on the end are the Marco Ruffines. And then the next shelf are groups of books by the same author. So over here, starting on the end, are all the Johanna Basford books, and then Kirby Rosanis books, moving into Ellen Robert in the red, and then a couple Emily Lidhall Oberg books, and then all Maria Trolle, and then Hannah Carlson, a couple artist editions by her, and then Jasmine Beckett Griffith, and then a few of the mythographics, a couple of Buffy the Vampire Slayers, a couple of the pop manga coloring books, and then Tomislav Tomic, the Mouse Guard, a few Millen Marotas, Rachel Reinhardt's, and those spiral bound ones are Color It Mandalas, and then the ones on the ends are Steve McDonald. And then on this shelf, on the end are my Creative Havens. Moving into a few of the older Dover coloring books. And then a whole bunch of Coloring Heavens, followed by the Lulu Mayos, and then just a few smaller size coloring books. I don't want to say random exactly, but you know what I mean. And then this box here, those are the Alan Robert Tarot cards to color. And then, once again, random in quotes, but not really random, of course, coloring books. And then on the end here are some loose leaf pages from books that I've taken apart, which I won't do again. Daisy Fletcher Into the Wild, and the Lost Ocean Artist Edition, and Magical Dawn Artist Edition. And then down here, a couple books, magazines. This binder is where I keep my artist trading card size, like sketchbook pages. Just anything I've drawn or painted or messed around with in various media are in that binder. And then next to it, these two portfolios are PDFs that I've colored, other kinds of printouts, other various sizes of things I've done. And then all of this next to it is just sketchbooks, different kinds of paper of various kinds. You can kind of get the idea just from looking at that. Watercolor paper, black paper, tan tone paper, etc. And then moving on to coloring books, more coloring books. It's kind of an overflow from above for now until I reorganize. I kind of reorganize these frequently as I add new books and things. And then I have here are the 50 set of Crayola Super Tips, the 100 set of Crayola Super Tips, and then these are all gel pens of various kinds. And then on the bottom shelf, or then no, two shelves left. On this next shelf, over in the corner, this one that's my Inktense pencils, and then the case next to it are better quality gel pens, so like my Jelly Rolls of various kinds, and Sparkle Pops, and just other kinds of gel pens and things like that. And then in this little case are my Stettler, I think they're called 320s. Those are the felt tip pens with the double ends, one fine and one broader. And then here in the orange box, those are Blick Studio brush markers. This case, or this tin, are the Brute Fruner squares that I just got and haven't even hauled yet. The one under it those are the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s, and then the final tin those are Arteza fine liners. And then over here, these are the Tombow dual brush tip markers. Those are water-based markers. And then on the final shelf are just a couple little containers with lots of yarn, because I don't have anywhere else to put those at the moment. This is a case with my Bic markings, which are the ultrafine tip. Those are now called Bic Intensity. And the last little tin there are just kind of overflow of gel pens, because of the way that I organize it by color. And then over here in this cabinet, I've got my other coloring supplies. On this top shelf here, in this case, I have my Limche 168 set of alcohol markers. Next to it, I've got the Touch New skin tone set of alcohol markers. And this little glass, I just have lots and lots of little brushes of various kinds, water brushes, little tools. You know, get the idea, that kind of thing. This is a little glass with the brushes that I use for distress inks and for gel crayons application, stuff like that. Over in the corner is Terpenoid Natural, which is the toxic free version of, or the non-toxic version of Gamsol, kind of. And then I have clear gesso, a little thing of glitter glue, the Pentel color pens, which I don't use that often, Crayola crayons next to it, 96 box, pencil sharpeners, container for pencil shavings. This little container contains all my distress inks and distress ink applicators. Those are the Pentel flares and some other micron pens. This one is Stettler fine liners and Stabilo fine liners. And this contains acrylic paints in the little tiny pots and also some larger bottles. And then I've got a stack of watercolors, all different varieties of pan sets of watercolors in various kinds. And then a little palette. And then next to it, I've got the oil pastels, more oil pastels. This is a watercolor set. These are tubes of watercolors and tubes of oil paints and gouache. And down on the bottom shelf, I've got Arteza 60 tubes of acrylic paint with a couple little tiles that I use for palettes on top. Then I've got the King Art gel sticks, and next to it the pastel set of gelatos. And then these are all Bic intensities, two different sizes. And then this little case back here, that roll case, those are the Stettler fine liners. And then I've got the ultrafine Sharpies in those tins in front, and Ohuhu fine liners. They have a brush tip on one end and the fine liner on the other. And then a case with tubes of watercolor paint. It's kind of random back there. And then this one, in that case I keep just kind of random stuff like white gel pens, spare colorless blenders and things like that, just kind of like my random overflow case. So that is it for this cabinet, and that is all the storage I have for coloring supplies. I'll just quickly show you my new desk, and that is it. This is our kitchen, and I didn't have anywhere else to put the desk, so it lives in our kitchen, which is fine because I got this one, and these leaves on the ends fold down, so it's really quite small. It can be quite small. And what else? It's not that deep, so it doesn't take up too much space, but I really like it. And I might be trying to set this up to film in here because I was filming in a different spot entirely. It was a little bit dark, and now that I have this space, I can try to improve the quality of my videos, make them a little brighter, easier to see my colorings. So that's that. That's the bookcase again. It might need to serve as a coloring bookcase in the future, who knows. But right now I've got all the rest of my books there. All this whole left hand or right hand side is knitting and crochet books and magazines, and then in this one, just super briefly, and if you're not interested in this, thanks for watching. See you in the next video, but if you are interested, I'll just show you really quickly what I have in here. So at the top I have my sewing box, which is, you know, anything related to sewing, knitting, crochet, just like all that kind of stuff. A couple boxes with storage. I'm not quite sure what is in those at the moment. Probably finished projects of some kind. But just briefly, so over here on the left, these are diamond painting, leftover drills, and other diamond painting related things. Up at the top, I've got my light pad sitting on that container with some crochet thread, and underneath there are perler beads and a little cookie jar with leftover stash yarn, or scrap yarn rather. Sock yarn here. Above it, in this case, are my finished polymer clay little things that I've made. Then over here are mini perler beads and embroidery thread, more mini perler beads, embroidery thread, polymer clay, more polymer clay over here, polymer clay roller, more sock yarn, embroidery fabrics and threads and crewel fabric and that kind of stuff. And then on this shelf, it's mostly everything related to polymer clay and resin crafts, various other things. Yeah. And then not too much to see in the bottom, just more storage basically, more perler bead stuff, storage for polymer clay and resin supplies, perler bead storage, beads and beading stuff are in there, crochet hooks, my yarn ball winder and yarn swift, more crafts storage. This is finished knitting and crochet projects storage, and other storage here. I'm not quite sure. I think those are more polymer clay finished items. And that does it for this. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day, and hope to see you in the next video. Bye.